and today we delve into a chilling tale of two scientific inventions that silently killed millions and even their own inventor. One, a seemingly innocuous device designed to make life easier. The other, a groundbreaking innovation that promised a brighter future. But both, as we'll soon discover, harbored a dark side, a hidden cost that would only reveal itself through tragedy and despair. This story begins in 1908 in Detroit, Michigan, the Motor City, a place brimming with the promise of a new century. The air crackled with innovation, with the roar of engines and the dreams of a nation on the cusp of a technological revolution. But amidst this fervor, a tragic accident would forever alter the course of automotive history. Picture this. A crisp autumn day, the leaves ablaze with color, casting long shadows across the bustling streets of Detroit. A woman, elegant in her long coat and hat, sits behind the wheel of her automobile, a symbol of freedom and progress in this burgeoning industrial age. But something is wrong. Her brow furrows in frustration as she turns the key in the ignition, but the engine refuses to roar to life. Frustrated, she steps out of her vehicle and surveys her surroundings, hoping to find a kind soul to aid her. Her gaze falls upon a well-dressed gentleman, his demeanor suggesting both affluence and a willingness to help. This was Frank Handel, a man of influence, a titan in the burgeoning automobile industry, the owner of a car manufacturing company that bore his name. Frank, ever the gentleman, approaches the woman with a reassuring smile. "Having a bit of trouble, madam?" he inquires, his voice laced with concern. The woman explains her predicament, her words laced with a hint of desperation. Frank, eager to assist, assures her that it's a simple matter, a common occurrence in these early days of the automobile. He takes his position at the front of the vehicle, his eyes scanning the engine for the telltale signs of the problem. His gaze falls upon the crank handle, a simple metal rod protruding from the engine block, an almost universal symbol of early automobiles. It was a simple mechanism requiring a firm hand and a bit of elbow grease to bring the engine roaring to life. With a confident nod, Frank grasps the handle firmly, feeling the cold metal against his palm. He positions his feet, bracing himself for the effort required to turn the engine over. With a grunt, he throws his weight into the task, rotating the crank with all his might. But something goes terribly wrong. The engine, instead of sputtering to life, lets out a deafening backfire, a violent expulsion of energy that sends shockwaves through the very core of the machine. The crank handle, once a symbol of power, transforms into a deadly weapon, whipping around with ferocious speed. The force of the backfire catches Frank off guard, the crank handle violently reversing direction, slamming into his arm with bone-shattering force. A sickening crack echoes through the air as his radius shatters, the sound masked by the roar of the engine, now finally sprung to life as if fueled by the very essence of the tragedy unfolding before it. The woman screams in horror, her cries for help swallowed by the din of the city. Passers-by rush to the scene, their faces etched with a mixture of curiosity and concern. But for Frank, it is too late. The damage is done. He collapses to the ground, his lifeblood staining the cobblestones crimson. News of the accident spreads like wildfire through the city, reaching the ears of Henry Ellis, owner of the CLC car company, and a man driven by an unwavering belief in progress and safety. Henry, a close friend of Frank's, is devastated by the news. He had long harbored concerns about the dangers of the crank handle, its potential for injury a constant worry. The image of Frank, lying lifeless on the cold pavement, his dreams cut short by a device meant to empower, ignites a fire in Henry's soul. He vows to find a safer solution, to eliminate the crank handle and its deadly potential from his automobiles. Henry gathers his team of engineers, their faces etched with a mixture of grief and determination. Our story shifts now, from the roar of engines and the heart of the Industrial Revolution to the hushed halls of academia, where a different kind of revolution is brewing. A revolution of the mind, fueled by a desire to unlock the secrets of human intelligence and elevate mankind to new intellectual heights. At the forefront of this movement stood Dr. Thomas Avery, a brilliant but eccentric psychologist, a man driven by an insatiable curiosity to understand the inner workings of the human mind. Dr. Avery believed that intelligence, far from being a fixed trait, was malleable, something that could be enhanced, nurtured, and ultimately controlled. He dedicated his life to this pursuit, poring over countless studies, conducting endless experiments, searching for the key to unlocking the full potential of the human mind. His colleagues, while acknowledging his brilliance, often scoffed at his theories, dismissing them as the ramblings of a man obsessed. But Dr. Avery remained undeterred. His belief in his work unwavering. He was convinced that he was on the verge of a groundbreaking discovery, one that would change the world forever. And then, in a moment of scientific serendipity, it happened. Dr. Avery stumbled upon a peculiar correlation between certain environmental factors and cognitive development in children. His research suggested that prolonged exposure to specific stimuli during the crucial developmental years could significantly impact a child's intellectual growth. Excitement coursed through his veins as he delved deeper into his findings, his mind racing with the possibilities. Could this be the breakthrough he had been searching for? Could he, through careful manipulation of a child's environment, enhance their intelligence, mold them into intellectual titans? Driven by this intoxicating possibility, Dr. Avery poured all his energy into developing a device, a tool that could harness this newfound knowledge and reshape the landscape of human intelligence. Years of tireless research and countless failed prototypes culminated in the creation of the Cognitive Enhancement Device, a name that hinted at its world-altering potential. The device itself was deceptively simple, resembling a pair of headphones, but within its unassuming exterior lay the power to reshape the very fabric of human cognition. It worked by emitting carefully calibrated auditory and visual stimuli, tailored to stimulate specific areas of the brain responsible for language processing, problem-solving, and memory retention. Dr. Avery, confident in his creation, decided to test the device on the most precious subjects imaginable: children. He believed that by exposing young minds to the device's stimuli during these crucial developmental years, he could unlock their true intellectual potential. He recruited a group of eager parents, all drawn by the promise of providing their children with an intellectual advantage in an increasingly competitive world. The children, oblivious to the experiment unfolding around them, donned the Cognitive Enhancement Device, their young minds bombarded with a symphony of stimuli designed to mold them into intellectual prodigies. Initial results were nothing short of astounding. The children who had been exposed to the device demonstrated remarkable cognitive growth, surpassing their peers in language skills, problem-solving abilities, and memory retention. Dr. Avery, it seemed, had achieved the impossible. He had cracked the code of human intelligence. News of his invention spread like wildfire, igniting a firestorm of excitement and controversy. The world marveled at the prospect of a future where intelligence could be enhanced, where the limitations of the human mind could be transcended. But lurking beneath this veneer of progress, a darkness began to stir. The very same stimuli that unlocked extraordinary cognitive abilities came at a hidden cost. The children, their minds pushed beyond their natural limits, began to exhibit disturbing behavioral changes. They became increasingly isolated, withdrawn, their social skills stunted, their emotional development lagging behind their accelerated intellects. The once vibrant and playful children transformed into cold, calculating prodigies, their minds sharp as razors but their hearts cold and distant. They excelled in their studies, mastering complex concepts with ease but struggled to form meaningful connections, their enhanced intellects trapping them in a prison of their own making. Dr. Avery, blinded by his own hubris, initially dismissed these changes as mere side effects, insignificant bumps on the road to a brighter future. But as the evidence mounted, as the children under his care retreated further into themselves, he was forced to confront the horrifying truth. His invention, the culmination of his life's work, was not the panacea he had envisioned, but a Pandora's box, unleashing a torrent of unintended consequences. The very intelligence he had sought to enhance had come at a terrible price, robbing the children of their childhood, their innocence, their very humanity. Meanwhile, the Cognitive Enhancement Device, despite its flaws, had captured the attention of a far more sinister force. Criminal organizations, recognizing the device's potential to create a generation of highly intelligent and easily manipulated individuals, began to exploit Dr. Avery's invention for their own nefarious purposes. They distributed modified versions of the device within impoverished communities, preying on vulnerable families desperate to provide their children with a better future. These modified devices, however, were not designed to unlock a child's full potential but to mold them into perfect criminals, their enhanced minds twisted to serve the needs of their criminal masters. Thank you for watching this gripping episode on. If you found this story as fascinating as we did, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more intriguing content. We explored the hidden costs of progress, the unintended consequences that can arise from even the most well-intentioned inventions. From the tragic death of Frank Handel, which sparked a revolution in automotive safety, to the chilling downfall of Dr. Thomas Avery, whose quest for enhanced intelligence unleashed a wave of crime and despair, we are reminded that every advancement, every breakthrough, comes with a responsibility to consider its potential impact on humanity. Until next time, stay curious and stay safe. Remember, the pursuit of knowledge and progress should never come at the expense of our shared humanity.